What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to Generation to Generation, Bridging the Gap with Rex.
Hey, Diva.
Really excited to hang out with you guys. We're always excited.
Very much so.
You better be excited, or we need to find something else to do, right?
Yeah. So what are we talking about today?
Talking about sayings. Yes, some of these old school sayings.
Or new school.
Or new school, and there's plenty of each. There are times that I say things that I have heard since I was a child that you will go, Dad, what does that even mean? And likewise, same thing with you. You come up with these deals. And here's the interesting thing. Well, what?
Well, I was going to say, here's the thing. I know how to use a lot of these sayings. I don't know the meaning behind them. So today we're also discussing the meaning behind a lot of them too.
Yeah, without getting into a lot of detail, we may even go, I have no idea where they came from. But one of the things that I have learned, because in my current role, I do work with a lot of young people that are in their early 20s, mid 20s, and early 30s. And I have even noticed a lot of the things that I will say that were common when I was in my 20s. I always see their eyebrows kind of furrow, and in the moment I know, I'm like, let me guess, you guys have never heard of that, right? And they all laugh, and they're like, no. And I'm like, well, let me tell you what it means, where it came from. And a lot of them are Army sayings. I have to admit that. And so they kind of got a kick out of it, and they've made a book of all of my, they have a book at the office of all of these Army sayings that I have shared with them over the years. So maybe you need to get a book or either take notes
I know,
on your
we
phone.
got a note. Okay,
Yeah.
so you want to get started with this? What's one of the old school sayings?
One of the old school sayings, the first one that comes to mind is that is jacked up as Hogan's goat. And we used to say that all the time, and you can even make that a little profane, but we're not going to do that. But it's messed up as Hogan's goat. It's jacked up as Hogan's goat, and it begs the question: who is Hogan? And what kind of goat did he have?
And why is his goat messed up?
Exactly. Well, I didn't research it a lot, but I did look at it, and I think it goes back to a comic strip, believe it or not, in the late 1800s. And it was called Hogan something, but I think it alludes to the smell of a goat, because goats do have a horrendous smell if you've ever been around a goat. And so I think that saying actually really refers to their odor. But it was very, very common when I was a teenager and in my 20s for people to go, that is as
Y'all
messed
can't
up
see
as
me, but I'm just shaking my head because I had never heard it until he said it. That saying is as messed up as Hogan's goat.
You never hear it anymore,
No.
but everybody used to use it. All right, give me a new one, your generation.
Okay, this is one of my favorites. It's called yapping. YAPPING, or yap. But how I use it the most is I have a master's degree in yapology. And yapping is just like, oh, she loves to talk. She talks a lot. She talks, she won't shut up. Like all those things. Somebody came up to me at a school event and they went, you just like to yap, don't you? And I was like, yeah, I guess so. They're like, it's all right. I like to listen. And so I have a master's degree in yapology because I like to talk, and that's all right because all my friends are listeners, so they got something to listen to.
You do. You love to talk, and I've
always talked.
Yeah, you have, and I got to be honest. Full disclosure here, especially when you were in your early teens, maybe around 11, 12, 13, you yapped so incessantly that sometimes, hey, true confession here, I had a tendency to just turn you off in the moment.
That's why we have the Abe Lincoln saying, because sometimes it takes me a long way to get to what I'm trying to say. It's like red fish, blue shoe, right shoe, got to do laundry, and then I finally get back to the green fish. Like it's a convoluted way for me to talk. Oh, there's a bird. Sorry. But I like to talk, and sometimes my talking will send me on 4 rabbit trails before I get back to the actual topic I was trying to get to. And so, as you've heard us talk about many times, we have a saying is, Yeah, and Abe Lincoln was there. You just throw that in conversation, and it's a non-offensive way to go, are you listening to me?
Exactly. And
that was invented when I yap a lot.
Yeah, and really the good thing about it is when I hear Abe Lincoln, I know it's time to pay attention. Just in the event I wasn't.
Yeah, and you know, you just keep building the story each time. You don't pick up on Abe Lincoln because sometimes Abe Lincoln gets thrown in the conversation so many times, you just like don't hear it anymore, so you got to add something random. So ours is like, and Abe Lincoln was there. Yeah, and then Martha Washington showed up. Apparently they were on a date, and by then, generally people are listening.
Yep. That's the way it works at our house. So back to me with another one. And I've got a list here that I wrote down real quick. Oh, here's one. And this one, it's also kind of hard to go back, but it is old. And hey, that dude doesn't know me from Adam's house cat. You remember that one? You had never heard that.
I never heard it, but who was Adam's? It's like the same thing with Hogan's Goat.
It's same thing. You're like, who in the world was Adam, and what did he have a yard cat that was distinctly different from the house cat? What, it just begs questions. But that one is distinctly Southern from the quick research I did, and it even goes back to an ox yoke, and they changed an older saying to kind of make it more sense. But if you even take it back further, it is the Adam in man, the original creation of man. But they just tried to make a unique saying out of it. And here's the thing. If you're from the old South and grew up in the time that I did, and my parents, everybody knew what that saying meant.
We don't
but
now.
in terms of where it came from, nobody knows and nobody cares.
Well, yeah,
right?
But it's a lot like how for a long time, like the words like, oh, that's rad. Rad was replaced by lit and things like that. Like that's how it works. As your generation had one way, the millennial generation sees it a different way. The Gen Z generation, we all are saying the same thing.
Yeah, and you dudes, I got to be honest, y'all freak me out a little bit with these one-word deals.
See, that's
I'm
the
like,
thing.
what's
Most
up
of
with
what
that?
you have is like long sayings.
Yes.
And ours is just stuff that infiltrates our vocabulary. Like my next one is slay. And that comes hand in hand with the next one that I have, which is dead. So like slay, it's like, oh, slay, like fantastic, you look great, slay, like you're killing it. That's exactly what it means. It is a shortened version of saying you're killing it, or it's killing, like, you know, slay. It's just, you tell me a statement of slay.
Exactly.
And then that goes hand in hand with dead. Y'all want to see dead as like a morbid thing. And it's like, I told somebody today, I said, I died dead, R.I.P. me. It's just like, I'm dying laughing, I'm dead. But it's like how you send an emoji, but you don't recreate the same emotion that you're sending. So when you say I'm dead, it's like I'm dying laughing, I'm on the floor laughing, but you may not actually be laughing. So you're just dead.
Okay, I'm going to make an observation here.
Yep.
Because obviously there's two distinct genres, so to speak, with our slang.
Mm-hmm.
My generation and older, it tends to be in sentences. You try to be clever with the sentence.
Yep.
You guys are very short, one word, maybe even a phrase.
Yep, and you can put it in whatever conversation you're having.
I think that is due to technology, because you guys are very quick. You're quick-witted, but you're ready to move on to the next thing. And so the quicker you can have the conversation, if you can come up with one word to describe a thought, that's kind of how you guys roll.
And also a lot of people in my age have like, what is the word when you like don't like an affliction? No, I don't know. Anyway, we don't like to send the same thing over and over again. So we're not going to say okay all the time. We're not going to say K. And so that's when things like slay or just different things like dead come in, because you're trying in texting. You don't want to repeat yourself over and over and over again, and we also like to shorten things. We don't want to text out, oh, he's crazier than Adam's house cat or whatever. I don't know how to use that one. I don't know, but that, I love it. But you have to shorten it.
Yeah.
Because if you notice, when you text your kids, when you text your younger friends, we're very short and sweet to the point. We don't like talking on the phone, but we also, I mean, I'm a paragraph texter, so I say we, like it's everybody. But I mean, we don't like lots of words that don't get to the point.
Yeah. And again, it is technology driven.
Yeah. It's because our attention spans are shorter too.
That is true. And the studies are proving that out.
Yep.
You know, I'm reading a bunch of books on that right now, and I'm always ready to cite one of the studies in the next book.
Yep.
So anyway, all right, you ready for this one? Mm-hmm. This one, I love this one. We used to say this in the Army when people were bickering about minor issues. We would say, say, hey, bro, let's not pole vault over mouse turds. You remember?
No, I just saw it in our notes and I was like, this is my favorite one.
Yeah, I did that at work recently, and I got the furrowed eyebrows, and I could tell. I'm like, oh my gosh, they have never heard this. And I said, that please tell me that you guys know what this means. They're like, we've never heard it. We have no clue. And I'm like, well, what it means is let's not major in the minors.
My generation doesn't say that either.
Yeah, I
Let's
know.
not major in the minors. That's like, the better way to say that would be like, don't make a big deal out of a small thing. And that's one instance of where it's easier just to say what you mean, not like just use a saying.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you just have to learn.
I get it.
Just
I
use the
get it.
right words.
Put your pole vault up.
Yeah.
All right, what's next one you got?
Cap or no cap?
Oh, yeah. I see that one all the time, and I can never remember. There's a friend of ours that has that as part of his Instagram handle.
Yes.
Yeah, Andy.
Yes. Andy,
And I'm
shout out
like,
you, Andy.
Yeah, shout out Andy. But I'm like, what, Andy? What is that? I can't ever remember. What does that mean?
So cap means like lying, like put a cap on it. I think I don't actually know the whole meaning of it. That's how I interpret it. It's like put a cap on it. Like you're lying. That's a bunch of, Bravo Sierra, all of
Right.
that. It's
Which is our family term.
I'm saying BS.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I know. It was so funny because I said that we were playing BS at Link,
Mm-hmm.
and I said Bravo Sierra, and I just got a ton of looks, and they were like, "Oops!" But cap is like, "Oh, that's lying. That's a bunch of Bravo Sierra. You're lying." And then so when you say no cap, you're not lying. It's the truth.
It's the truth.
So in some cases, it's like no cap, like your favorite. This is true. Like if you give me a statement, it can be true or untrue.
The wall is white.
No cap.
No
Like,
cap. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, but see, I
wall
can't
is-
remember because cap to me, I'm not.
Well, you're
I
putting
always-
a cap on it, is how I see it.
Yeah, but see, for me, when you say cap, I'm thinking about all cap letters. That's what goes through my brain, and that's why it
Mm. Well, that's
always
another
confuses
thing.
me.
In my generation, if you use all caps, that's not just like emphasis. That's like how you show you're yelling.
Yeah,
And so when
right.
people send like capitalizing, they'll like apologize under it and say, sorry, I didn't mean to yell.
Yep.
Like nobody can hear you saying all caps, but the meaning behind it now is that you're
Exactly.
yelling.
So see, there even in the way that we type text can be different
Yep.
generationally, and I've had to learn that
Yep.
because I've learned it from you. I've learned it from others that I work with, and I'm like, he's back on
Yep.
the caps.
And also, don't ask me about any Gen Alpha slang. I refuse to learn it. I feel like the older generations who refuse to learn our slang, I refuse to learn. I don't know what skibbity toilet is, and I don't want to know what it is. If one of the kids I babysit wants to explain it to me, fantastic. But my search history will not have what is skibbity toilet. So
I have never heard that one.
it's a Gen Alpha meme. I don't know. I don't know. But if that's how you feel hearing Gen Z slang, that's how I feel hearing Gen Alpha.
Right.
So
And let's define Gen Alpha. That is the
2010 to present.
yes,
And that
2010
is
to present.
this year,
Mm-hmm.
and then the next one is Generation Beta because it's
Yeah.
going in the Greek alphabet now.
Yep. Isn't that
So,
crazy?
It is.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, I always joked that Gen Alpha is setting up, like the name is setting up kids to be entitled, but that's just a joke. Like, it's just kind of funny. But
All right, here's
Yours-
my next one. This is an Army one, and it's also, I always felt like this was specifically for people from Arkansas because I had a battalion commander in the Army that was from Arkansas. We grew up about 35 miles from each other, and he was from Mark Tree. I'm from Wynn. But anyway, we were out on maneuvers one time, and somebody got lucky in one of the what we used to call force-on-force exercises. And I will never forget, his nickname was the Gator. You know why his nickname was the Gator? Oh, yeah, because he could chew you out.
I
really.
just thought it was If you can't see,
No,
you
no,
can't see
no,
my
no.
hand, but I'm doing
It-
the talk to the hand thing.
It wasn't because he was a yapper. He would. We used to say it this way: when he got through with you, your rear end would weigh about 5 pounds less. So the Gator was taking big chunks out of people.
That's
Let's put it
iconic.
that way.
That's
I
iconic.
loved the Gator. The
That's
Gator was
another-
awesome. Yeah, but the Gator used to say, when somebody got lucky, the Gator would say, "Well, boys, even a blind hog can find an acorn every now and then." Hogs.
I got the furrowed brows right now. Furrowed brows right now.
Love it. I love it. Okay. Hogs
Well,
pigs.
they search for things.
They root is the actual.
Well, so here's the thing. I only know what pigs like. That pigs can search for things from Stardew Valley because you buy pigs and they search for truffles.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason I know what pigs do.
I am afraid to ask this question, but I must. What is a truffle?
Oh, it's like a fancy mushroom. Like rich people put it on their food.
Okay.
We've had like
like that kind of truffle.
Yeah, like when we ate at that restaurant in Disney, and it was
okay.
like the truffle oil
Yep,
French
I
fries, and the like
get it.
shaved
I get
truffles
it.
and black
All
truffle
So
sauce.
that's what it means in Stardew Valley.
In Stardew Valley, it's a
Okay.
very like it takes a lot of money to get your pigs.
Okay.
Because they give you your truffles are very expensive.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I know
all
what
right,
pigs
folks.
do.
You
can
heard-
learn stuff from video games.
Yeah, you can learn stuff right here. Hey, pigs in this culture eat truffles.
No, they don't eat
in
them. They don't eat them. They search for them.
They search
Like
for
the
'em.
acorn.
Well, why are they searching for them?
Well, like they get to certain regions of the world, they dig up truffles. Not every pig does
To
it.
do what with it?
People sell them. It's like how like dogs are trained to go hunt, like fetch the birds when they're shot, like hunting dogs.
Okay.
These pigs are trained to go find truffles.
Okay.
Don't ask me. I don't
All
know
right,
the logistics behind it. I just
I'm
know it from
asking.
a video game.
Okay. Well, we've made the connection here.
Yes.
But in Arkansas and most other states that I'm aware of that have wild hogs, they root, they forage.
Like squirrels?
And, yeah, they forage. They dig in the ground.
So they're just big
and
squirrels.
Let's not make this hard. Okay.
This is me with math.
Even a blind hog can find an acorn every now and then.
Acorn?
Acorn.
Yeah, that sounds better.
Okay.
See, I'm just going to stop here. Normally we do the moral of the story at the end of the episode,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes when you're like for parents and their kids, sometimes you just need to ask, what are you talking about? And then you have the whole conversation about it. It's a great way to start a conversation. Your kid uses what is going on in your head right now? Like, what does this mean? How does this work? And then you're going to laugh because then you'll know how to use it. And then your kids will be ever embarrassed when you use their slang because you're like 40 or older and you're using Riz and Yap. And it's kind of funny.
And lit.
Well, yeah,
you don't
use lit
that.
a lot more.
Yeah,
than
but
we
I don't
do.
use it anymore because I know, man, it's not cool.
See, but my generation doesn't use lit nearly as much as they did 2 years ago.
I know. So I'm like, okay, if your generation's not using it, I sure don't need to be using it. Anyway, all right. So enough for the hogs and the truffles.
Okay.
So what's your next one?
Period.
Period.
So you're just period. It's not like it. Literally, the period on the end of the sentence when it's like slay. So give me a statement. Just
Any
give me
kind of
Any kind of
statement?
statement.
I love that poster on the wall.
Period. One of my great friends.
Is that like 100%?
No, period is just like point,
That
like point
point.
made. Like you made
Okay.
it, but it's like an actual period, like the
That's it.
grammatic period. So somebody
Nothing else to say.
No, somebody else said this and it said the period, like saying period, is a secular version of saying amen. So like, you know, when somebody's in church and the pastor's on stage and you go, amen, pastor, like period, like no more to say, like end of conversation, period.
Okay.
So that's what that means. Girls use that more than guys, but
I have seen that in text.
Yep.
And so, yep, I get it.
but that's
All
what
right.
it means, period.
Okay. All right.
Just no more to say.
No more to say. All right, here's my next one. And I got this one from my dad. I never used this one personally, but I think it is so cool because I know I've got a phone call coming in, but we're going to turn that vibrate.
Yep. Okay.
There we go.
Your dad used to say it.
He used to talk about, my dad was in politics. He was a public official, ran for office for like 20 years in our county. And there was a county judge, a county probate clerk, a circuit clerk. But anyway, one of the old county judges evidently was a little slow in his decision-making process. Really a great guy, but he was a little slow. And so here was the saying that they used for that. Hey, if that dude was going to cut the tail off of a dog, he would cut it off an inch at a time.
Sounds like torture, man.
Exactly. And that's the point. Hey, if you're going to cut the tail off the dog,
Do it.
Do it. Cut the tail off, but because
Just
you cut it
do
off
it,
an
the
inch at
Nike
a time,
saying.
that's going to make it extremely painful for you and the dog.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Rent free.
Rent free.
I just taught him what this means in like preparation for this episode. So when you hear someone says, "Oh, that lives rent free in my head," or "That's going to live rent free," it just means that essentially, the non Gen Z way of saying that is, oh, like I can't stop thinking about it. But you got to think about it. If it lives in your head, right, it's not a wanted thought. So it lives rent free. It's not paying rent. You're not putting effort into it, but it lives there. So it's like when you have a song stuck in your head, oh, Taylor Swift is living rent free in my head right now. Like I don't want to be singing her music because I'm not listening to, it's like I'm trying to do a math test, but it's rent free in my head. It's not paying rent. So I don't want it there, but it's just an uninhabited, I don't know how to say that. Anyway, it just lives in my head rent free, but that's what it means. Rent free.
All right. I like it.
Yeah.
I can roll with that one. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Here's a net. This is one I learned as a kid, and I heard a politician say this. Some things, just stick in your mind. You hear them
rent-free.
It lives rent free, and you just remember it. And I'm not a big quote person, but there was a guy in Arkansas. He was the governor. His name was Dale Bumpers, and he was extremely popular. And he got elected to be a senator. And sometimes that kind of happens nowadays. But back then, it was a little unusual sometimes to go from governor to senator. But anyway, he ran for Senate, made it. And I will never forget, he was on the nightly news one time, and he came down the Capitol steps, and somebody was interviewing him about a potential law that they had just voted down. And Dale Bumpers said, well, let me tell you something about that. Everything that glitters is not gold.
Oh, I love that saying.
I love it too.
It's in All Star from the Shrek movie. The lyric, "You're an all star." It's like all that glitters is. It's like all that glitters is gold or something, or all that doesn't glitter is gold. I don't know how they mean it, but that's how I know that.
But that one is kind of short and sweet.
Yeah, I think my generation would still use that in like a. But I mean, when we did this, I kind of put more like one word things, and you kind of put more like sayings.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of what my generation says saying wise.
We ought to look that up. I think that'd be interesting. All right, what's your next one?
It's giving blank. So just like give me a statement, any statement, not about the wall.
Not about the wall. Giving. Dakota wants to go outside.
It's giving desperate. Like it's giving. What is this giving? What is this giving Gus? What is that person going through? Or like you see hot pink. It's giving Barbie. Right? What does it remind you of? It's giving you the feelings. It's giving you the nostalgia. It's giving. So like it's like it's getting late. Oh, it's giving procrastination. It's giving past my bedtime. Like that's just how we use it. I mean, it is 5:00 when we are filming this. It is not past my bedtime.
Yeah, but I'm laughing because, again, your generation is so, direct and straight to the point. And again, we've already determined that. A lot of that's to do
we're
with
a lot
technology.
more blunt, I feel like.
You are blunt. And part of that's social media, too. You and I know this. A lot of people that say things on social media, they would never say to your face. That's a problem.
But also tone doesn't transfer well over anything other than in person. I was trying to be sarcastic with a friend, and I was like, oh, that probably sounded really mean. And I was like, I am so sorry. I was being sarcastic there. And so we're a lot more blunt. We don't really have, we're no nonsense. We're very no nonsense. We don't want to waste our time trying to figure out what's going on. People who do waste their time on things we call delusional or delulu. Because they're wishing for something that isn't actually there.
Well, that we're kind of going down a pig trail right now, but I think it's a good one.
Trail.
Yeah, a pig. Have you never heard that?
I've heard a rabbit trail.
Well, a rabbit trail, a pig trail, they're the same. You kind of off the main route and you're off to the side. But this is a good one because, again, when you get more direct, I am all for being direct, but it's got to have some clarity in it, and it's got to have some tact. And personally, I am appalled at the way that our politicians specifically talk to each other. And it is not, I'm going to say 4 to 8 years ago, that was totally abnormal. Even though they may have disagreed vehemently with each other, you never called each other names. You never derided each other to the degree that happens now. And unfortunately, what I think has happened is because the politicians think that it's okay to talk to each other like that, the general public has decided, well, our leaders are doing it, so it's okay for all of us to do it. And I'm here to tell you, as an older brother, hey, let's not do that. You can disagree, but part of the thing that has made America great over the years is that in our disagreements, we've still been able to be civil to each other and not question each other's humanity. So anyway,
there's a fine line between calling names and calling people out. A lot of time, I mean, she's not going to care because I'm not going to say it, but like I called my best friend out for something. I was like, this is ridiculous. I don't know why you're doing this. You're essentially just sitting here, letting everything happen and not doing anything about it. That's one thing. But if I said you're an idiot for sitting here, now that's a completely different meaning. I'm degrading her. But if I'm just saying you're sitting here and it is an idiotic move to sit here because you're just letting the bad things happen, that's completely different. And so it's about having wisdom with your words when being blunt, because you can say what you're trying to say a lot nicer than just, and then it's a straw, isn't it a straw man fallacy when you don't like degrade or you don't like disagree with the subject, but you go attack the person directly?
I don't know that I've ever heard that term used.
I don't know.
In that way.
I'm sorry, Mr. Verano, for forgetting the entire Fallacy Detective book, but I think there is a fallacy when instead of, it's like the example in the book was if somebody's wearing flip-flops, rather than going, I can't believe you're wearing flip-flops in January, it would be going, I don't know how you can wear flip-flops when the original creator of flip-flops was a slave owner. Like you're going straight to like a source that it doesn't directly relate to this. When you're calling someone an idiot, not what the situation is an idiot, you're going straight to the person, straight to the thing. You're not talking about the situation. And so I think there is a fine line between being blunt, between...
Yeah, sounds like I need to sit in that class. That's another advantage of your classical education. I would enjoy that.
Logic 1 was math with words.
But hey, let me give you some scripture to go with that. The Bible says, let our words be seasoned with grace. Yep. And I think that is, at the end of the day, we can be direct, we can be clear, but let's always be very gracious in our speech. Yep. I am not going to attack someone. I'm not going to attack their character. I'm not going to question their beliefs because they're entitled to those. So that's a good little sidebar in terms of the way that we communicate.
To bridge gaps.
Yep.
So, okay, what's yours?
Right, the next one I've got, let me look through here real quick. Oh, here's one, and you heard this one recently because I told you an old Army commander used this one. First time I ever heard it, I was in my 20s as a young lieutenant, and it was a problem that came up, and I will never forget it. He was a full-blooded Hawaiian, by the way. I'm going to use his name. We called him Bull. That was not his name, but he was built like a bull, and he didn't mind people calling him that. So we called him Colonel Bull. I'm going to say Robinson. That's not his real name, but everybody called him the Bull, and he knew it, and he was cool with it. But the Bull would say, if there was a problem that was not going to go away, you can call a rattlesnake a rabbit all day long, but in the end, it'll jump up and bite your alpha. He didn't say alpha.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to.
Yeah.
But no.
But it got your attention when he said it.
Yeah.
Because it's
very out of pocket.
Yeah, it's out of pocket.
That's another thing I probably should define, out of pocket.
Okay, define that.
It's like, it's not what, it's okay. Imagine somebody's entire life is like a bag, but then some people say things that come out of like a Mary Poppins bag. It's out of pocket. You're not expecting it to come out. It's just out of nowhere. I don't know what the origin of it is, but saying something like that, it's out of pocket. It's not in that traditional tone of that person.
Yeah. And the truth is, I think the older generation used that to a degree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that one doesn't surprise me. I'm like, I think that one's carried over. But the visual of the rabbit and the rattlesnake, that's a good one. Because let's face it, a lot of people will have issues or problems come up, and instead of dealing with it, and it's a rattlesnake in the corner, and they want to call it a rabbit. Well, it's still going to bite you if you don't deal with that. Yep. And so anyway, it's a cool saying. I like it.
I do like
that. Oh,
Bull. One. Okay. I've got one. Bougie. Now, most people here probably know this one, but if you don't, bougie essentially means spoiled, high class, high maintenance without all the brattiness. And so when you like things bougie, it's like, I want everything to the highest level of quality, but I'm not going to throw a fit and make a big scene out of it if it's not. I just like a higher quality of things. So
Yeah.
Bougie.
And I'm kind of okay with that.
Yeah.
I remember when that one first came up, I thought, what does that mean?
One of the sayings that was really big at the start of like my teenage life was the birds work for the bourgeoisie, which I still don't know the meaning behind. I think it's like the birds are spies and they work for the government. But I thought bougie was a shortened version of bourgeoisie. So I was very confused why people were calling people like the government. That's not what it means. It's just like you're high maintenance, high class, but you're not really bratty about it.
Yeah. And
You
actually,
can be, but you're not. That's not really like the traditional sense of it.
well, see, I thought it was, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I thought that's what it was short for.
Was
But you're saying
bourgeois-
it's, yeah.
No, why would the bougie be bourgeoisie? Like, because if you think about the bourgeoisie, if I remember it correctly, it became really popular with like George Orwell when he would call, I think it was an animal farm, and it's the government. So the birds were spies. It was big during Ronald Reagan's time. They thought the birds were the spies, and I don't ask me the meaning behind it. That's all I know.
Yeah.
But I thought bougie was like a shortened version of the bourgeoisie. It's not.
Okay. So it just
is like
it just came out of nowhere.
I'm sure I could look up the origins of it, but I don't care that much for it.
All right, here's one.
Yep.
If you can't run with the big dogs, you better stay up on the porch.
It's good. I actually understood what that one meant when I first heard it. I didn't have to go, huh? But I still don't know what it means. I just like that's a lot of things. You use a lot of words that you like know how to use but don't know what they mean. That's something that I would know how to use but would never know what it meant.
Yeah. Well, big dogs generally come off the porch.
Yeah.
They're not afraid to go out on the sidewalk
But
and bark at whoever's
Nowadays,
walking
it's
by.
the Chihuahuas that
Yeah.
are the ones running off.
Yeah.
The big dogs are the scaredy cats.
Chihuahuas, you're right, man. The Chihuahuas, they are
The
territorial.
rat dogs. The rat dogs are over there.
Yeah, exactly.
But the big dogs are the ones hiding between your legs because they got barked at. I'm like,
Yep.
that saying is completely irrelevant to the spoiledness of our dogs.
Well, back in
our dogs
the
are
day,
bougie.
yeah, our dog is bougie, but back in the day, dogs were not bougie.
They were
Dogs
fighters.
didn't stay. Generally, dogs didn't stay in the house. They stayed out in the yard.
Yep.
You just put their food out. If they ate, they ate. But so in the summertime, especially, dogs would stay up on the porch. Sometimes they'd sleep under the porch if you had a wooden porch. And when somebody walked by, the big dogs are coming out, and the little dogs would stay up on the porch.
Yep.
So anyway, that's what it means.
Okay. Okay,
else you got?
I have two more.
Okay.
I have yeet. This is a dead saying, but if you don't know what it means, I'm going to use the classical word for it, which is okay, anyway, I can't even think of it. All my Latin classes are going to be so mad at me. But it's like yeet, you throw things, you chuck them. Like if I was just to take this tissue box and yell yeet and chuck it across the room, it became big in Vine culture. Vine's no longer around. Vine was the TikTok before the TikTok. It's you saw something, you want to throw it, you chuck it across the room, you get rid of something, but it is a dead word. And parents, if you use that in front of your kids, you're going to get a look. And so, but that's what it means. If you see anything with it, that's what it means. It's just like throw it.
Okay. Thanks for telling me that.
Yeah.
Because I used to see it on Instagram quite frequently, and I never would even use it because I'm like, I don't even know what it means. And I could, even from the post, I couldn't figure out what the context was.
It's like he was yeeted
if
out
you-
there.
Yeah. If you can't figure the context out from the post, I'm like, probably don't need to be using
it just
that
means
one.
throw. Like it's just and what is the word when you throw something out the window? It's like defenestration. I don't know. But the yeet is the modern version of throwing out the window.
Now you've got me curious. I'm like, what word are you trying to come up
Hold
with?
on, while you talk, I'll Google
Okay.
it and then we can play the
right.
Google Speaks of
Okay.
it.
Well, here's my next one. And have you ever heard the term man junk? They're talking man junk.
Is this like the girl version of drama? It's like spilling. Oh, that's a good one. Anyway, no, I don't know what it means.
Yeah, guys like to talk. They
this
smack.
Yeah.
Have you, smack?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Smack, man junk. Guy.
The look you just got
oh my
I have
gosh.
two. I just thought of that I need to explain, but go
Okay.
ahead.
Man junk is when guys just are messing with each other and they're talking smack. And so it's just synonymous for each other. But one of the things we always used to say when we were kind of bragging, especially about our athletic ability, and somebody say, hey, we're going to play hoops at 5 o'clock, for instance. And somebody would say this, well, look here, brother, you better pack your bags because it's going to be an all-night job. Or you better pack your lunch because it's going to be an all-day job.
Okay.
You ever heard that one?
No. No. Okay. I found it. This is the
Okay,
word.
what is
this
it?
is the word. Oh, is it going to play?
Defenestration.
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 Defenestration. It means the act of throwing someone out the window.
Someone or something?
Someone. But the informal is the action of dismissing someone from a position of power or authority.
Okay.
But we use it in Latin because that was a historical, actual like way of people died was being thrown out the window. They were defenestrated out the window.
Okay.
So, but I have two little sayings.
Come on.
Spilling the tea. Okay. I use this a lot. What's the tea? Spill the tea. You got any tea? It's gossip. You got any gossip? Spill the gossip. What's going on? Like, because women used to have tea together and would talk about everything going on in their lives because that's what women did. That's what we've always done. I'm sorry, God, for gossiping, but that's a crucial part of womanhood right now. And
is tea?
Tea, like spilling the tea, not like not like literal tea.
Yeah,
but like
now
I was
you go
talking,
to coffee, right?
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
But like when you tell, like I'll text my best friend and I'll be like, "Hey, what's the tea?"
Okay,
like spill the
yeah,
tea.
I get it.
It's just like, give me the gossip, give me the deets. That's a really old one. Like the spill the tea is a version of that, but then the other one is side eye. So if you go to your phone and look on the emojis and you see the little eyes looking to the left, that's a side eye. It's when somebody says something and rather than like verbally going, what? You just look at them with your side. You keep your face forward, but your eyes cut across. Side eye.
Is that the updated version of stink eye?
I guess.
Okay.
I guess. I don't, stink eye is like an old one, but side eye.
Right.
It's like side eye.
Well, it's just like spill the tea. It used to be, hey, keep, is this one in use anymore? Hey, keep that on the down low.
Well, it's the DL.
The DL.
Keep it on the DL.
I'm so sorry.
Yes. And then like low key is another one. Like, it's not very serious, like low key, like high key is like it's serious, it's a big deal, it's like high priority, but low key is like DL, keep it on the down low. But those are my two. Go ahead. Sorry, we talk and then I'm like about to use a saying and I'm like, wait, I probably should explain what the saying is.
This is my last one. Okay. I got a few more, but this is my last one. And it's kind of like the man junk we just talked about. This is another one. Hey, bud. You're going to let your alligator mouth out-talk your hummingbird alpha.
Is that a big mouth, small personality, small body?
Yeah, because most people, that's what they do. They let
put your money where your mouth is.
They let their alligator mouth out-talk their hummingbird rear end alpha. Alpha. Okay.
Okay. Let's see.
My gosh.
But I got to see if I have one more. I don't think I do.
If you got one more, let's go for it.
A Riz.
Riz
is the last one. So Riz is short for charisma. And so when you hear somebody go, oh, he got that Riz, like he's charismatic, like he's got all the girls, like he's got that Riz, she's got that, like it's like pickup lines. When you use a pickup, oh, no Riz, like, or you got that Riz. That's the new way of saying you got charisma. You got it. Like you're sly, you're slick, like you got Riz.
Yeah, you're fly.
Yeah, that we don't say.
I know that's an old one. They used to make T-shirts at Disney World with that one.
I'm so fly, I'll never land.
Yeah.
It was a Peter Pan shirt.
Hey,
Mama tried to buy it for you once, and you said,
absolutely not. I am not going to wear that.
I'm sorry if you've ever worn this one, but one of the ones I can't stand at Disney is the Dream Vacation, and his shirt says like I'm broke and hers is like and I'm spending it all or something.
Yep.
I'm like,
hey, you get me a Riz cap though. I might wear a hat with some Riz on it. Oh my gosh.
Wait, okay. You got a list of them. Why don't you, with no explanation, just list off all of the ones that you had on your list that we have left? Because the only one I want to hear is the elevator one.
Okay,
but you just
and no
list them
explanation.
No explanation. Just list them off.
This may not be good, but okay. The dude's not the sharpest knife in the drawer.
Yep.
Hey, that boy's elevator don't go all the way to the top.
He ain't always there.
He ain't always there. That brother ain't got the sense God gave a goose. And I don't understand that one because I don't think God gave geese a lot of sense.
If you know what that means, message us on our socials. Let us know what these mean.
Here's one. Lost as a goose in a snowstorm.
What is it with geese?
I know, picking on geese. Here's another one. We used to say, especially in football, that defense was so messed up. They were running through that like through a goose. And that would make sense though, because if you ever been around where geese are, there's
everywhere.
Poo everywhere. So anyway,
there's Sierra everywhere.
Let's see what else. Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
I got furrowed brows there.
I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole.
And I wouldn't touch him with a 39.5 foot pole.
The dude ain't got 2 nickels to rub together.
If I had a nickel for every time this happened to me, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's surprising that it happened twice.
Happy as a pig in slop. Oh my gosh. I think that is enough. We got to see, now we've gotten to the point of absolute ridiculousness.
Wait, one more that we had that didn't get said is, if you can please explain to us what it means with the pot calling the kettle black. Please tell us what that means, because I don't know what that means. And then
I know what that means.
Oh.
Yeah, because pots are generally black too, because they get dirt on them. And a kettle used to be always black. So when you're being hypocritical, that's what that one means.
Okay.
If you say something hypocritical, oh wow, isn't that the
Well, I know how
pot
to
calling
use
the
it.
kettle black? Yeah.
Okay, so I have my list. Scot-free. If you know what that means, let us know. Baby with the bathwater. You're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Where did that come from? What does that mean? Let us know. He ruled with an iron fist. Who's got the iron fist, and why is that a saying? We have this one in our family called Wipe Your Mouth Tommy Noy, because we had a family member who was missing all his teeth, and when he would eat, his name was Tommy Noah, but it would get all over him. And so people would say, wipe your mouth, Tommy Noy, because when he would introduce himself, he couldn't say Tommy Noah, so it was Tommy Noy.
And your mother always thought that this person existed in another state, and his name was Tommy Noe. And then she was flabbergasted to find out that his actual name was Tommy Noah.
And he's our family member.
Yeah, but he's actually became a celebrity.
In our household, everything. And then we have Hell or High Water. Yep. What does that mean?
That's an old one.
Yeah. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Who wants to win a chicken dinner? Why? Good googly moogly, or good googly goo. That's yours. You say that one a lot. Good googly goo. Or Mama.
That's your mother.
Mama says that. Good googly goo. Giza
so
Minetti.
Goofy.
Giza Minetti. Where's that one come from?
She has said that her whole life, and I'm like,
Giza
I have
Minetti.
no idea where that came from.
And then, that's all the ones. I don't know if I say any. I say and everything a lot, or like but everything, but that's not like a saying. That's just me filling space. But if you know what any of those mean, let us know. If you have any you want to explain to us that you've heard before, also let us know, because we may do a part 2 to this episode.
And the point of all of this is, let's always be able to talk from generation to generation.
Hey, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure to follow us wherever you listen to podcasts, and to leave a review, because it helps people who don't know about us find our message. If you want to follow us on our socials, go to G2G_podcast and Generation to Generation on Facebook. And special thanks to our editors at Reborn Media.